minutes. I'll just start the live. Okay, we are going live now.
All right, perfect. Let's do it.
Okay, we are live. So, hello, Tech Nerds community. Today we have Karan from Rocket Hub and Alex from V01. So, let's see how we can build or you can engage your customers and convert them into paid users. So, Alex, how are you?
I'm good, man. Thank you very, very much for having me. I hope everyone can hear me loud and clear, and you can see me on the screen as well. But no, otherwise, hyped to be here tonight to show off another little live demo with the LTD crew. And very grateful for you having us in your community as well.
Yep.
Thank you. It's a pleasure having you here.
So just for me to get my markers, will the live chat comments be in the chat here, or will they be somewhere else?
Unfortunately, because due to the Facebook API, we need to check the group itself.
Easy. So what we might do in that case, give me one sec, I'll just find the live stream. That way I can open it up on the side and I can answer questions as we go. Oh, here we go! Inderpreet is back! Lovely to see you again, my sir.
He's in all the streams. I mean, you see in the next stream as well with Elmar, for sure.
I love it. He's everywhere. I'll save what I was going to say for later. But no, super cool. Thank you for being here. Excited to have you as well. Ratvik, well, you're hosting, but always a pleasure. We can probably kick off, man. We might start off with a couple of intros. So we'll go around the room. Anne's not here today. So I'll kick off with a quick intro, and then we'll go through what the product is, what it does, why we built it, how we got started. And then from there, I'll take you through a couple of little use cases and demos today. We'll dive into that in a sec. And then throughout the stream today, squad, if you have any questions, if there's anything throughout, just chuck them in the chat. I'll take little breaks as I go through different features within the platform to explain and answer questions. And then I'll circle back at the end of the stream as well to see if there's anything that I've missed.
I'll be checking in the group as well to kind of give some answers.
Awesome.
So yeah, so it's a tag team right now.
Yes, sir. I'm excited. I love it.
Let's do it, man. Let's do it.
I can see Ahan here in the chat as well. So I might kick off, Ratvik, with a quick live stream or screen share, if that's cool with you. And then we'll go through a little bit of the platform and a little bit of who I am and how it got started. So kicking off with me, who am I? Those who do not know me, we've been through a couple of these live webinars now, but if you have not seen me before, my name is Alex, Australian born, grew up in Europe, now based out of Vietnam, where we're building our new startup called Version 1. My background is in the growth startup space. So really getting into startups early, scaling them, and then when they exit their growth phase is when things get a bit boring for me and I move on to the next one. Some notable results in that was a company called With Me.
We also have Anne here.
Early on. Oh, and it's clear here too.
Perfect. The money guy is back.
Yes.
Yeah, move money.
And then continuing on, many of you may know me last year from another Rocket Hub launch I did with a previous startup called Web Studio. About 6 months ago, I left Web Studio, met Antoine here in Vietnam, and we got on board to building this new marketing platform that solves some specific growth marketing issues and then addresses the broader public sort of scalable marketing automation tool. That's enough about me. I'll hand over to Antoine now here.
Okay. Thank you, Alex, and thank you for having us. I'm An. I'm based in Berlin currently, but came from Berlin. Some notable results in my journey was that I joined last year one of the fastest growing growth scale up in Germany. I scaled the pre-sales team from 3 to 30 people within some weeks, and then decided to leave and do my own thing, and then met Alex in Vietnam. And since then, we are a great team. And building V1. Happy to be here. And if you have any question regarding investors and any other financial shit, feel free to shoot whatever.
Awesome.
Okay, back to you.
Thank you so much, Anne. Really appreciate it. So I'm going to kick off with a little bit of a demo now, squad. I'm going to walk you through what V1 does as a system. We'll start off by covering the holistic overview of the platform on a big picture, look at the different features and things that we have. And then as we go through that, I'll dive into a little bit deeper on the growth marketing side, which is really the space or the part of the platform that we're expanding on and specializing in. And that's the piece that helps you go from little startup where you are today, or little agency or small business where you are today, and then take your marketing efforts and really ramp them up for a growth type model. So I'm going to kick off with a screen share. Give me 1 second. Hopefully I share the correct screen. And while this is loading up, we've got a few new people in the chat. Victor, great to see you again. Launch the focus on this. I'll answer your question in a second, Victor. Curdy, lovely to see you. Yup, back again. Great to see you as well. And Sam, lovely to see you too, man. Alrighty. So can you see what I can see, which should be a dashboard screen? I don't think yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Switch that across.
Just give me a second.
Yep, now we can. Perfect.
Super cool. So, squad, when you get into the platform, you're first greeted with your dashboard. Your dashboard is something that can be customized. It's something that we're developing and expanding a lot more into the future as well. But the idea of your dashboard is to give you a quick snapshot, with a big picture overview of what is going on the marketing front. I'm sure many of you have worked with cheeky marketers like myself, or maybe you are a cheeky marketer. We love to claim all results to be our own campaign results. The goal of the dashboard is to give you that big picture overview on exactly what is coming from where and how your different users are converting. What you'll see on the left-hand side is a holistic overview of the different leads that are coming through. Those leads, how many of them are converting into users, and then which social channels are the users coming from. Now, this is the data on very much a big picture, right? Holistically, everything that's included. We can then from the dashboard drill down in any additional data point that we want that lives across the entire user journey. So it could be anything the user's doing within your platform, anything that they're doing with interactions to your marketing, where they're coming from. And the idea really behind it is so that you can build things up 6 months down the line. You could have a Karan be like, hey, which of the campaigns did Alex launch that had the best return on investment, but that not just gave us the most leads, gave us the highest paying customers over time? And this allows you to really drill down on that type of data. I'll take you through what this looks like on a more micro level now as we jump into the contacts side of the platform. So the contacts side of the platform is what you'd typically expect with your CRM and its segmentation, breaking things apart. Breaking your different contacts in their lists and figuring out who came from where, or however you want to segment. But if you go into one of those individual contacts, you can then find all of the more micro data that's being captured. This is also where V1 starts to deviate from what you'd expect from your typical CRMs that are in the market. So on the left-hand side here, you'll see what you'd expect, your typical CRM or contact type fields within the individual contact. But if you scroll down a little bit further, you'll start to find these different fields that aren't typically present on other platforms. And this looks like the marketing data. So where did people come from the first time they heard about you? Where did they come from the last time where they heard about you? All of the UTM data. So for those who are not familiar with UTMs, it's essentially, when you click on a link on an ad or a tracked link and there's a bunch of different characters in the URL after the main URL, that is UTM data. So the platform will automatically capture that data and store it against the contact. So you can look back in the future, you can look back on what is working, what is not in your marketing campaigns. Then you'll find your user's journey. And V1 operates around this growth or pirate type model, which I'll explain a little bit more in a second as we get to automations. But in principle, the idea is your users are tracked across their entire journey throughout their experience with your product or your company. And then you can run automations to these contacts based on where they are in the journey, and they're never double dipping and getting multiple ads for something that they've already purchased or emails for an upgrade that they've already taken. More on that and examples on that in just a second. Otherwise, on the contacts page, you'll find an overview in the center of the page with what's going on, what are the different comms that have gone out to this contact, and then on the right-hand side, you'll see an overview of the tracking of this contact. So where did they come from? What are they clicking on? And what was their latest activities? Jumping back out, I'm just going to head quickly over to the chat here to see if we've got any questions on these parts so far before I cover some of the other sort of horizontal looking functionality of the platform and then dive into more of the deeper growth or pirate funnel aspects. So just checking here. I've still got everyone. Yes. Jumping over to the chat. Mabel is back. Hello, Mabel. Imran is back too. Hey, Imran. Lovely to see you both. Mabel's asking, how are visitors' identifications tracked and through cookies? Yes and no. So at the moment, visitor identification is tracked by the form, the sign-up form that they submit and the URL that they submit that form from. We are working towards full site tracking with a typical script that you can inject in the head of your site, and then that will track the user interactions and activity across all the pages of your site or of your app. This is something, though, you can expect early next year as we keep to develop and build out that functionality. But for now, the users are automatically tracked by pulling in that UTM data. So where did they come from? It tracks then when they come in as a form, which page did they sign up from, where they referred to from anywhere else, and is there any other marketing data that the form pull from? Marcel's here saying, this one sounds interesting. I love that, Marcel. Feel free to ask any other questions if they come to mind. Mabel is then asking, how is the integration with CRM tools? Are there any CRM tools natively in V1? So Mabel, very good question once again. The idea is you shouldn't need an additional CRM to go with V1, especially if you're just getting started out. We are planning to build in both Salesforce and HubSpot two-way sync type integrations in the near future. This is mostly, though, for customers that have a big setup on these platforms, and it's a high risk for them to move out and move all their customer data and setup out of those platforms. In those cases, we will have an integration for them. But otherwise, if you do have any other CRMs or there are other tools that you prefer to use, you can integrate them with Zapier, Pabbly, or anything else that goes over webhook. Whew! Take a little second to breathe and jump back over to the screen here. Great. Rav, have I still got you? You can still hear me? We're still on the chat. Everything's streaming all good?
Yep.
Awesome.
Everything is good.
Super cool. So what I'm going to walk you through now, Squad, is just the rest of that horizontal facing functionality of V1. So I was saying a little bit earlier in the call, V1 sort of comes in two parts. On the horizontal level, so that's like the broad level, what we want to be covering is all of your basic marketing and sales activities, so that you only need one platform to run as a CRM, and to sort of go back to Mabel's question there, so that you don't need to integrate with other CRMs when possible. But then what we will continue to flesh out is what I'll call the vertical, and I'll touch on the vertical in a little bit. Second. So back to that horizontal, what are the key functionalities of V1 and what can you use these for typically in your day-to-day business? These are what you can see on the left-hand side of the platform here. So we have chats. Chats is an omni-channel inbox that integrates automatically with your emails that you send out through the platform, Facebook Messenger, Instagram. We are looking to introduce SMS and WhatsApp into these chats in the near future as well. The idea of the chats is just, instead of you having to jump between all of these different platforms, aggregate their data to connect them back to your CRM and then figure out, they message me here and then they message me here. Are they the same person, not the same person? How do I address the query? This brings it all into one place and then syncs all of your different comms back to individual contacts. Again, in turn, back to that marketing data. This is where the core of the omni-channel inbox works, and this will play in quite well, especially if you're running a bunch of organic content, a bunch of ads. Moving down the list a little bit further, we then have calendars. Calendars is something that we use quite intensively internally here at V1, but the idea behind calendars is that you're not back in that position where, I'm sure you've been here before, you've got a customer, yourself, and you want to close that deal, and you're like, all right, when are we going to get it on the phone? One guy is like, Tuesday. Oh, I can't do Tuesday. How about Wednesday? Wednesday's too full and fully booked. How about Thursday? And you keep going that back and forth, and ultimately that lead might go cold. idea behind the calendar, just like a cal.com or a Calendly-like setup, is you just send them your calendar link. They can then pick a time. The calendar will check with your existing calendar integration, whether that's Google or Microsoft, to make sure that you're not double booking into any slots. There's a bunch of additional config that you can then do with your own calendar. I've just got a basic calendar set up here. And if we wanted to see what this looked like on the front end, I could jump over to my calendar shortcut. Give me one sec. Meet. Remember how to type it, Alex. There we go. And this is what it would then look like on the front end. So a user can come in here, select a calendar slot, book that. It goes through the two-way sync, pushed back into the CRM. And again, all of that marketing data is once again captured. If I take this as a little example, I'll show you an account that I created the other day as a demo. You can see we've got a little Loud Egg demo that we did here in a previous live stream. And from here, this Loud Egg account had booked, had filled out one of our forms. You can see that form is then populated on the left-hand side. Same sort of principle, calendars, where not only will it do the calendar functionality, but it'll also do all the marketing tracking and integrate and sync all of that data back to your one contact. I'll answer a quick question before I jump into the next part. We've got Nyup here asking, do you intend to develop V1 as open source? No, we do not. Pros and cons on that front, but no, we're not developing V1 as open source. I'm going to try and pronounce your name correctly. Forgive me if I don't. Chenna, let's go with Chenna. Chenna's asking, any plans for WhatsApp or WhatsApp on inbox? Yes, WhatsApp integration is something that we have planned. We're looking at, I don't have a hard ETA on the WhatsApp integration, but essentially WhatsApp and SMS, as well as these revamped dashboards, are the first thing that we're looking into post the Rocket Hub launch. So you can expect those features to come before the end of the year. Alrighty, jumping back to my stream, making sure it's working. Yes, we're all here. And I'll do one last question from Mabel before we jump into pipelines. Mabel's asking, what type of automated email sequences can the tool provide? What are the anticipated automations regarding emails, upsells, cross-sells, downsells, etc.? It's an excellent question, Mabel. I will come to that. Actually, let's dive into that right now. So there's a couple of things that we can do with emails and the automations. Starting with the easiest piece that I'm sure many of you are familiar with, which is your typical email blasts. So if we jump into the blast section of the platform here, jump into the campaigns, you will find, beep, boop, beep, boop, you will find essentially all the previous blasts that you had run out, as well as the stats, which will show once a blast does go out. From here, you can create a new email blast using either one of the templates that are built in, or you can build your own template. There's a bunch of different things that we have around this. We're also releasing new templates on a weekly basis. But if I was to choose one of, let's say, one of the acquisition emails that we have, let's do our greatest here, webinar general email as a template that I'll kick things off with. You can then see visual builder for the email template. You can drop in your different modules from the left-hand side here. And then this template editor is available anywhere that you're using emails throughout the platform. That covers the blast side and your basic emails that you'd send out, Mabel. Next, we're going to dive into the automation piece. I'll just do a quick question from Faz and Victor here before I move on. So Faz has got a question saying, I've been thinking about the idea of V1 and I think it's brilliant. Oh, that goes to the heart, Faz. To have AI micro-analyze every move and create alternatives on the go based on a proprietary algorithm from the marketing masters. Yes, brother, that is what we're working on and what we're working towards. We've actually started some experimentation around this week with Anton, and I think we'll have some exciting stuff to share with that in the coming weeks as well. Victor's asking, out of all the names in the world, why V1? What's the story behind it? Just curious to know. That is a very good question. So, Vic, when I met Antoine here in Vietnam,
This should be your FAQ, by the way.
I need to add that. I agree. This comes up in every stream. So when I met Antoine here in Vietnam, we actually met through an accelerator called Antler. It's an 8-week program. It's a pretty popular accelerator. And they have centers around the world. And essentially, as we're going through the program, they were like, hey, come up with a company name. What's your company going to be called? Both of us were just on the spot. We're like, fuck it. We don't give a fuck about names. Let's just build the product, focus on the product, do our interviews and research. So we'll just call it Ghost. As we continued to go through that Antler program, they kept referring back to the two of us as the Ghost team, which is a little bit weird and awkward. And also my dog's name is Ghost, which might have been where the idea popped in the first place. But we're like, all right, well, fuck, let's not keep that name because it's weird and everyone else has actual names. What could we call this version 1 of the product? And that's where it started here. It's like, wait, are there domains available for version 1? Yes. Let's present it to a couple of people, and people either loved it or hated it, which is an approach that is quite polarizing and that I'm all for. And eventually we settled on, hey, let's not spend any more time on the branding side for now, other than what's needed to grow and scale. We can think about the name again in the future if we want to. But for now, we're quite happy with V1. And that's where it all came from.
That's a cool story.
Oh, sorry, Karan, I cut you off.
Nope,
That's
I'm
a
there.
cool story about your name, about the name.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Chenna is asking, do you have any plans for WhatsApp support on Inbox? Yes, I think I answered this, but in short, yes, 100%. As soon as the WhatsApp integration goes live, it will be integrated into the omnichannel inbox. Same principle with any of the future integrations that we release. If we do so for platforms like Telegram or when we launch the SMS functionality. Mabel is asking, do we have any heat maps? Mabel, we do not have heat maps, but you can integrate the platform with Clarity, which is an open source heat map tool by Microsoft. And you can pass your contact data back and from there if you wanted the heat maps to be identifiable. Mabel's also asking, what are the anticipated CRMs you'll be integrated with in the new future? Almost for certain, Mabel will have Salesforce and HubSpot. I can also see that this lives closer to the MRR side and our MRR customers than it does for the LTD customers. On the LTD front, we will have more integrations with popular LTD tools, but I won't promise anything up front. We'll see how we go as we continue to grow and scale. CRM integrations will definitely be focused on MRR clients firsthand. Niru is then asking, does it have app ability? Niru, it does not yet have app ability. In both ways, this could be asked. So whether we have a mobile app, we don't yet have a mobile app. We do plan to have one in the future, but we don't have a hard date on that just yet. In terms of integrating with apps for things like push notifications, this is one of the integrations that we want to build in natively to V1. It's not available just yet. If you do have a push notification platform, you can trigger it through the automations within V1 over webhook. Mabel, back with another question. As there are so many Go high-level white labels, how does V1 platform differentiate itself from other marketing automation tools on the market? That is a great question. So Mabel, our sort of baseline and principle for now will always be building things towards enabling growth marketing. Coming from a growth marketing background, also having spent about 2 months researching in that niche, there's some pretty big gaps in terms of what's needed to scale your growth marketing efforts if you're not looking to bring on engineers or analysts. Those are the 2 areas that we're looking to focus on first and to expand the platform in first. So the idea is that you should be able to run all of your growth experiments, get all of your data, and then iterate on those experiments without needing any additional support from engineering or anyone who can code or any additional support from the AI or data side. As the platform evolves, it's obviously going to become a lot more AI infused. And with that, the idea that you should be able to get to as an end state type product is you log into the platform one day, V1 then tells you, hey, this is what's working, this is what's not working, here's what you can do to improve it. And it's using all of the thousands and thousands of data points that it has across all of your different marketing campaigns to then implement automatically new growth experiments and new growth flows to really personalize the user journey for people and to push people through that user journey funnel.
And even for AI, if you want to use, like, you still have OpenAI integration through the workflows.
Yes.
So that's if you want to like use it right now, you can go ahead and use it right now. But
Absolutely.
native V1 integration is again will happening I think by next year because AI needs a lot of work. It's not just if you see AI, it's not made by indie hackers, right? It's not an indie app. you need AI properly integrated with VO1, so you need a lot of dev, heads into this thing, so it's not just like you're using a boilerplate. You need to make sure it works with each and every workflow properly.
Completely agree with you, Ukran, and that's why the broader AI functionality we're looking to come early next year with those types of examples. With that said, we will have some awesome use cases coming out in the coming weeks that show you how to do things like with AI, create personalized journeys where the AI is like adapting those journeys and customizing the content depending on the user that is going through that funnel. But stay tuned. A lot of exciting stuff coming on that front soon. Jumping back to my little chat here. Victor is asking, does all of this work for all CMS platforms, including WordPress, even without a plugin? Yes, sir. There are some pieces that you will need to integrate. So the main piece that you need to look at receiving is have some form of trigger from your platform to notify V1 when a user completes a specific action. We'll have a lot more tutorials and trainings on what the growth funnel looks like and how to plan for the correct actions over the coming weeks and months. It's something that we'll continue to build out on. But essentially, once you've got those 3-4 actions that are happening, so as an example, the activation point, what determines if a user is activated? If I look at Uber as an example, their activation point was like, hey, we know that if someone takes 2 rides with Uber, we've got them for life. It's a great example of activation. Facebook's activation is you get 10 friends, you add 10 friends on Facebook, you are officially an activated Facebook user. Each company will have their own. We'll put in some training and tutorials on how you can figure out your activation point. But then once you've got them figured out, you can just run either through one of the integrations that we currently have available, or through something like Webhook with your existing platform, where you just notify V1, hey, XYZ contact is completed this activation, and that will then V1 will then move them depending on those triggers between stages. This will also evolve over the months as we build in things like app tracking and site tracking. But I won't dive into that too much on the call today. But this is something that has its no code limitations for now, but as we move forwards, will get easier and easier to implement. Victor is asking, will the AI generative be trainable with existing email content samples? If so, can it write in the specific styles? Victor, yes, absolutely. I would invite you to check out our roadmap items. So if you jump over to hub.vo1.tech, you'll find our feature requests, new releases, roadmaps, and announcements.
And after this, what you can do is, Alex, I think we can even announce the 14 new updates we made, enhancements and things after we reach to the end of the live session. So people know that okay, it's a regular development happening.
Absolutely. There's some stuff that I wanted to do with some training, but we can definitely do the announcement first, and we can do trickle on the training throughout. But to answer Victor's question, if you jump in, Vic, into the stuff that went out this week, there is details on how you can train your AI and what types of data it can take into account. I don't remember the exact release title for it. Sorry, I'm in the wrong category. Get in the right category, Alex. Here we go. History for GPT actions. Go through this, and this will highlight then for you all of the details of what types of history you can then pull in. But essentially, Victor, to answer your question, you can pull in the history of that one user's interactions with GPT previously. You can pull in that user's activity with just the latest interactions with GPT. So for example, they're going through one automation, just those interactions with that one automation. You can pull in any custom data that you have throughout the platform. So back to that dashboard, big picture, what I was explaining before, and then diving into the individual contexts. Throughout everything in V1, every data point is accessible, whether that's to create and trigger automations, whether that's to create customizations from AI, or to create custom reportings on. You can use any of that data dynamically. So you can train it on any of the data that you have on the user so far. And then you can also give it your own custom prompts. So both system prompt, temperature, and then the prompt for the exact step that you want the content to be generated for. Man has just joined. Man Kim, Hello, welcome to the stream. Alrighty, so continuing down, again, that horizontal, we're just about done on this front before we dive into some of the more complex automations. But the next two pieces we have are forms and pipelines. So the forms, for the most part, are what you would expect with your typical forms built into a CRM. They are forms that you can create, customize, you can edit any of the fields, you can edit any of the designs and styles without needing to touch any code. You can still add custom code if you are more of a hardcore CSS ninja. But this is what the form editor looks like here. You'll see your different fields. You'll see the ability to add new fields, to create new custom fields specifically for this form. You'll then have the option, if you go into styles and options, to create some broad styles, to pick from some themes, or to open up your advanced styling, which then allows you to tailor pretty much anything throughout the individual form. The main difference that you'll see with V1 forms, and this is kind of back to Mabel's question before with how is V1 different from other CRM platforms, is an obsession over the marketing growth side and its tracking. So every form that you pull out or clone from our auto attribution forms here, you'll then see they have built in a bunch of hidden fields. So these are fields that the user will not see on the front end when they're looking at it on the site. And these fields will automatically capture that marketing data that I was referring to earlier. So where they come from, what their sources are, all the way down to the individual ad parameters that you want to specify through like Facebook or Google Ads or however you're running your ads system. From there, after you've done all of your custom fields, customizations, you've got everything ready to go on your forms, you can then integrate. Just click on the little integration button. There's a couple of integration options here. What you will use if you have an existing website builder and you just want to switch out and replace the forms is just this inline option. You can copy the embed code, just paste that embed code on your platform of choice, and then the forms will display there. Karan, I think I might have cut you off. Did you have something to add?
Nope, all good. I think what you have shown is, yep, it's perfect.
Super cool. I'm just going to jump back into the chat. So chat, I can only see the last 4 comments. So if there's something that I've missed, feel free to just repost it. But
what you can showcase is the RB2B demo, just quick 5 minutes, because that's something very, 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 very unique.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. So let's dive into that then now. I'm just going to see if there's any form questions that come up. Niru is asking, can we white label the app? Also, Niru, we cannot white label the app. We may offer a sort of reverse integration with Go High Level in the future, where if you're white labeling their platform, you can also use V1 features. We will see about that. Depends on market demand. Mankim is asking, is this solution like Latiflow? Yes, it is very much like Latiflow. Latiflow is a Vietnamese first, I believe, CRM and automation platform. Inderpreet, back with the awesome questions. Can we connect it to Clivio and Twilio? They are the SMS platforms, not at the moment, but that is something that we are working towards in the near future. So let's dive into the RB2B use case example. So what I'm going to walk you through here, we're just going to create this almost from scratch together. And I'll show you what it looks like to get things set up. What RB2B does, it's a super interesting new platform that does, it's called cold or anonymous visitor identification. So what this will allow you to do is from the cold traffic that are hitting your website, that you don't know who they are, that have never submitted a form, RB2B can identify who those users are. The fun part with the integration and the use case comes is that you can then automate the outreach to cold traffic that are coming through your site. Previously, the only way to market to cold traffic on your website is to use things like retargeting campaigns like you have on Facebook. We create a retargeting campaign. Anyone who hits the site hits the pixel, and then we can run ads to them, and that costs money. RB2B side is super cool because we just add the script to our website, connect it and integrate it with V1. And I'll just open the tutorial here so you can see if you want to follow along, do that next. But yeah, set up RB2B, connect it, integrate it to V1. You can do this by following the tutorial that is on our YouTube channel. If you just search V1_tech, it's the first tutorial we have here. And then what that will do, it will then pull that and sync that data to V1, right? So we now have cold data from cold leads that we don't know or haven't known before visiting our website. We then want to automate comms to them. So how do we do this? Well, we're going to create an automation together. I'm going to jump into, we'll create this as a campaign. This could also be used as an awareness stage automation, but let's just create a little campaign example here together. We're going to do this from scratch.
And by the time Alex does this, let me tell you the benefits of this particular integration. Now, this is basically, if we see it from like 30,000 feet point of view, this is like inbound to outbound outreach sequence. So RB2B kind of is an inbound thing. Let's say if anyone is coming to your website, it identifies them as a code visitor. That email goes to your VO1 system, and then automatically a trigger happens. So it's like a warm code outreach, basically, because they already know your brand, know your product, and you're just sending them an email that, okay, yeah, I think you visited the site. It kind of can be a bit creepy because they would be like, oh fuck, how do you know? Like, I have built a website. But this is very, very powerful if you apply this correctly. So you should buy VO1 just for this particular integration. Like, imagine how much money can you make?
Yeah, this is the one thing that I think you'll get a return on investment like within the first couple of weeks of getting set up. And this is a use case that can be applied pretty much to any company. It's also something that we use internally at V1. So whether you're an agency, you're a small business, or you're a SaaS looking to scale up and you want to know or do a little bit of that account-based marketing, know exactly who are the individuals at companies who are visiting your project and who you should market and sell to, you can run that through RB2B. So once you've got, I won't do the webhook integration step. That is in the video. It's super simple. You literally copy a URL, paste it into RB2B. Then continuing from there in V1, what we can set up is anything for the next steps of automations. So what I'll do here is I'll just create a little email action step, which is what you can see on the screen here. You can customize your base action emails and stuff, but what you'll find, we'll keep releasing and introducing new pieces to this, is templated systems built into V1 for the use case examples that we have, like the RB2B example. So if we jump into here, we've got cold visitor templated email 1. I can then edit this template. You'll see it's a base framework that would work around most types of companies. Then you can go in and edit this to whatever type of content you want. You can also integrate now AI inside of this. So AI is writing these templates and making the customizations for you based on that RB2B data. So to do this, you just, instead of adding an email step, we could instead add a GPT step. Chuck this one in here. And then as the prompt, we can write it, hey, write an email, or first welcome email using this type of structure. Here is the customer's data. And then you can pull in any of those data pieces that I was telling you about before. Remember, every piece of data is integrated in a variable across everywhere in the platform. You can pull in any of those data pieces to generate the copy or the content for those cold emails. So it's a little bit more templated and tailored to the person visiting your site.
One question over there about the dynamic thing. Let's say if I have to add their LinkedIn profile, can it just add a LinkedIn profile and then personalize the email?
Based on the LinkedIn profile?
Yeah.
I haven't, hold on to that question for the demos and the use case that we're going to release next week with the AI stuff. But what I would say is you have access to all of the data that is coming from RB2B. So that does include their LinkedIn profile, the email address, first name, last name, position, company name. Most contact data will come with all of those. And then you can use any of those data points with either any of the versions of GPT to then edit and run those tailored comms.
Awesome.
Back to this example here, a great typical cold outreach sample for an RB2B case would be a 4-step email that rolls out every couple of days with a wait in between. Again, we have all of these pre-built into the system as templates. If you jump in and you select the email, you can just select which template you're looking to use. And again, as more of these use cases come out, they will also be built in both as integrations as well as templates so that you've got everything that you need to hit the ground running. We've got a bunch of questions that have come through here. So give me a sec. I'm going to see if I can expand these. I can't. Facebook's being cheeky. Brave is asking, can we see your roadmap? Brave, absolutely. Just jump over to hub.vo1.tech. You will find our roadmap here as well as the feature requests that you can make. We then have Brave also asking if V1 is GDPR compliant. Yes, Brave V1 is fully GDPR compliant. So both the partners that we use, so whether the sort of middleware, white label, licensed tools that we use, they all have EU-based servers. That's where your data is stored with them. And then any of the data that we are collecting and storing, which is a lot, also lives out of our servers, which are built with Superbase out of Germany. Will it be difficult? Man Kim is asking, will it be difficult for no-code users to migrate the data? No, super, super easy. And that is an awesome question. So if I jump over to the contacts page here, we've got a super simple import export option. Whether you want to take all your data out of V1 or bring data into V1, it's as simple as clicking one of these options, uploading your CSV, connecting the right fields to the right fields inside of V1, and then you're good to go. Export, same thing, one-click exports with all of the data that the platform holds on those users. Interpret's asking, can we connect it with Google My Business? Not at this stage, Interpret. This is something we may look into in the future, depending on where the market demand or interest is. There's also, Google's a little bit weird with their GMB. Typical Google, killing features and functionality left, right, and center. Things like the chat feature, which they used to have before, which they no longer have, pretty sure globally. We will see based on demand, and we will see where they take the GMB product. Will round robins be part of the lifetime deals calendar? Another great question from Interpret. Yes, sir. All of the calendar types are part of the lifetime deal. I would say in general, as sort of a general approach, everything that we can offer that doesn't have a one-off use case, a one-off cost to us as a business, will be given to all lifetime deal holders from now through all of the future updates. Similar type thing to like what we did with Web Studio. We just have some hard limits on like your contacts in this case and your seats. But beyond that, all the features that we develop, as long as it is something that can be used at scale by lifetime deal users without destroying the company, then it will be offered to lifetime deal holders. On the LTD front as well, we are big advocates of the LTD game, as I like to call it. We've been in the space for probably since like 2018 at this point. More than happy for email changes, code reselling will be in the platform and in the support to support whether you're the first time buyer or you inherit a license. Here to help and to enjoy the LTD game. Mabel is asking, what features would not be included LTD for sure and reserved definitely for MRR customers? So Mabel, unlikely any one specific feature unless it has a usage cost for every time that you have to hit the API, in which case we'll introduce pay-as-you-go models for the lifetime deal holders, similar to what we have at the moment with like the emails and the AI usage. It is pay-as-you-go, but you essentially pay the wholesale rate. So whatever we pay for the service as a sort of thank you, give back, you just pass on the cost at no extra upcharge to any of the lifetime deal holders. On one side, you always get the best deals at wholesale costs because we can get wholesale pricing with the platform. On the other front, we're not putting any parts of the business up for risk. We're going to be here for the super long term. Interpret's asking, definitely looking forward to community classes or weekly engagement that will help growing and continuous MRR. Absolutely, man. We can expect those to come through, not next week, but in the following week after that. This next week, we've got a couple of pilots for the individual training type classes. That's just to test out, make sure that we've got all our education side mapped out. It's all easy to understand. Once that is sorted and worked out, which will be the end of next week, and we will have live sessions for everyone in the community with training on growth marketing, growth models, and sort of your general digital marketing space, how you can go, how we went from baby startup and then took that to many, many numbers.
And just let them know that we have also partnered with, almost there with Growth Drive.
Yes, we're also in talks with different educational partners. So Growth Tribe is one of them, to offer either some training directly with them for our users, or to upgrade and update their training and have a special sort of deal for their users where they get to go through all their training and different education pieces with V1 as a core platform, and then that can then be passed on. Going through, Interpret through webhooks, asking, tell me about API docs through webhooks. If you just check out the integrations page. So I'm going to open this up here. So just go to help.vo1.tech. You'll find a couple of interesting things. But essentially, the integrations piece here walks you through how to integrate different systems and how to use those webhooks. We will also introduce API docs and API like direct integration, but you probably shouldn't expect this until Q4, sort of the back end of this year. Brave's asking, can I update leads from a Google Sheet file? Yes, absolutely you can. I might even have a demo. Do I have a demo? No, I don't have it live with me here, I don't think. Give me 1 sec. I might have a demo that I can show you directly with the Google Sheets. I'm just going to open it in a separate tab, so I'm making sure I'm not opening some weird shit in a sheet. But otherwise, who was asking that question? Brave. Otherwise, I'll have a tutorial on how to integrate and how to update with Google Sheets that I will release both in the community as well as in the updates, both on the Rocket Hub page and the updates that you can find through our hub. So if you go to Hub, you'll see news here. We'll post all the data here. You can find this in the little chat bubble when you're inside of the platform or directly inside of the Discord community. Nero is asking, what about payment gateways? The biggest challenge. Yes, payment gateways are a challenge even for us. So what I would say is unlikely to have direct integration with payment gateways before the end of this year. The first one that we will have is Stripe, because we're building this both for us and we'll be giving it to all of our users as well. For that to pull in data, there's some caveats to it. I won't spend too much time on it on the live stream, but you can expect integrations with platforms like Stripe in the future. Victor's asking, do you have an affiliate program? I mean, that would be a great way to use V1. Yes, sir. We don't yet, but we will. I don't have a hard deadline on this. You're the first or second to ask about an affiliate program. If a bunch of people do ask about it, I'll prioritize it and get an affiliate program live for as soon as the deal ends. Man Kim's asking, do you support warm-up email tool? We do not. So, man, I would say if you are looking for a cold email platform, you're probably better off with just using a cold email platform. If you're looking for the piece that holds all of your contact data and that allows you to automate on from the future and integrate with a bunch of cold email platforms, you can do that. I'll take us as a use case here at V1. So we do a bunch of cold email to promote the platform and to land our MRR clients as well. We run those cold emails through New Reply, but you could also use Instantly or any other platform that is dedicated for cold emails. And then the way we automate this is as soon as we get a positive reply from the cold emails, we pass that lead into V1 so that we can start automating the booking process with the calendar, get them set up, take the next steps and automate those next steps. So what I'd say, if you just want to do cold email, go for a cold email platform first. If you have a cold email platform and you want to automate the next piece that happens after the initial outbound connection, you can integrate it with V1 and then automate everything else that lives in that inbound type journey or funnel. Niru, will AI chatbot be in multiple languages like Hindi? Eventually it will. There's probably some of that working at the moment, given that it's based on GPT, and GPT likes to reply in whatever language you're addressing it in. But the multilingual side of the platform is something for much, much further down the line. Full transparency up front, it's not a priority outside of English until we really get that MRR and then tackle markets that are in a specific language. Victor is then asking, the question was whether they have the features that allow you to know which of your subscribers are online, what emails they're reading, and at any given time let you send individual subscriber mails without sending it to anybody else. Victor, so goal is to get to this. We're not at this stage just yet. You can send data inside of a user's time zone. So the platform will pick up time zone data. It can organize or arrange time zone data. That's done automatically through either the integrations when you plug it in or directly via the calendar or forms. You can then set up your automations to run and send those flows and emails out at specific times, and that can be in a user's time zone. More around the time zone and personalization side and when they're online and when they're not online will come in the future, but we're quite early on that front. So I'd say chuck it in the feature requests because it's something that I would be super interested in as well. Nyop, back with another great question. Yes, I think we'll be a good server. It will be a gem. Yup, thank you very much. Goes to the heart. I appreciate it. Inderpreet is asking if we can set up affiliate programs for our clients, like they create their own affiliate and recurring. We will see. This is unlikely of a vertical that we tackle, unless for some reason there's a sudden surge or like crazy demand for it. As of right now, I wouldn't put my cards on the affiliate table built into V1 as part of the platform, because it is its own beast of a system to set up and maintain and build out. But we will see again where community, roadmap, and MRR type customers land. All right, I think I'm done with the questions on the question front. I might send it back over to Karan now to see if you have any additional questions or anything that you want me to cover. Otherwise, I can dive into a little bit more about what is growth marketing, what is the pirate funnel, and why is it important?
I would mention, of course, the cost part of it if you're using any other platform. So let's do one thing,
Yes.
Alex. Let's open ActiveCampaign right now and show how much ActiveCampaign costs for anyone to start using it.
Okay, I like.
Yeah.
I like.
Go on. So then we can compare, okay, what you're getting as a value and why you need to get the deal right now, because this is, again, a steal.
Alrighty, I've just reopened the screen share once again.
Yep.
I'll wait for it to pop up on screen.
Yep. This will be like quick 5 minutes. Yeah, there you go. Oh, yep, I can see the screen. So.
Okay, super cool. I think on a stream, it's like anchored to the bottom left. I don't think anyone would be able to see it.
Yeah, Retro, can you put it on the center? Yeah.
I'm not sure why that's happening.
There you go.
Awesome. Thank you. Alrighty. So let's look at ActiveCampaign as one of the examples of ActiveCampaign is one of the people that we would consider somewhat direct competitor. They are also gradually moving to the AI-powered growth automation space. But let's have a look at how they do their pricing, and then we'll compare that to how the lifetime deal pricing looks like at V1 with this launch deal that we have here on Rocket Hub. So let's assume that the business is growing, right? And that we have, let's say, 15,000 contacts in our database. Not too big of a number, pretty realistic. If you look at operating a business for a year, think of all sizes, provided that you're collecting lead data, which you should be, and I'll have training on that in the near future, you'll get to a list size of like 15,000 contacts pretty quickly. If we then look at the pricing here from the ActiveCampaign side, they charge at a minimum $265 a month. And that is for, is there any?
10,000 contacts.
Yes, 10,000 contacts. With this, you wouldn't get the built-out growth flow and growth automations as a system either. You'd have to build that by yourself. And who knows what ActiveCampaign's got planned in the future too. But essentially, that $265 on the ActiveCampaign side would get you those 15,000 contacts that you want, would allow you to send emails to that contacts. And this is a little bit different to how we're doing it V1.
And it's just one user.
But it's just one user. That's right. And as soon as your contact limit increases, let's say we go to 20, bam, price increases instantly. This is a model, a little bit of a sharky model that most CRM platforms use. HubSpot and Salesforce are probably the two worst culprits on this front, where it's super cheap to start. And then as soon as you start scaling, they hit you really, really hard on pricing. And that's because they charge on a per contact type basis pricing model. And that means the better you're doing as a business, right? The more contacts you're getting, the more reach your marketing is doing, not necessarily paying customers, but just the more contacts you have in your database, the more you're paying for the CRM platform. And with HubSpot, we did the math. You're looking at an average of $1 per contact per year. So assuming the business was to grow, you got up to 50,000 contacts, that's a $50,000 bill you're getting on a yearly basis. V1, we didn't want to run into that, partly because we've been through the shit of those platforms before, but the other side is that we're really looking to help out SaaS companies, and SaaS companies tend to have large databases, large volumes of users. But but only about 5 to 10% of those users in a good SaaS company ever converts to a paying customer. So you shouldn't be paying for those large databases of users. You should only have to pay additional fees or charges when you're making additional money. So the way we've done with the V1 pricing, if I then jump over to, I'll do it through our Help Center because we've got some comparisons here. But if we jump to the Rocket Hub tiers, we have large volumes of contacts so that you're not going to get slapped in the face with a contact limit. No price to keep and store those contacts from now and then forever. And then you only pay a sort of credit type model when you need to utilize different features for those contacts. So if we looked at that here, you pay what we pay, which is essentially $0.000007 per email that sends out, which works out to be about $10 per 14,000 sends. And then if we compared that same cost to platforms that were also looking at about a 15K limit, you've got a good example here with just the SMTP providers, and then your broader automation and CRM platforms and what that would look like on a monthly basis.
Yeah, and don't forget the 10% discount code.
Oh, yes.
Yep,
And
right in the screen,
right
there.
It's right on the screen there.
Yeah, and should kind of do it. And should do it. He's on the bottom. And do it this. Yeah.
Awesome. So I'm going to jump back into the questions here. Inderpreet back again with some great questions. I use ActiveCampaign for clients, may consider to shift. Yes, sir. Let me know. Let me know if you need any help, if you've got any bigger customers as well. I'd be super down to doing a sort of use case value exchange where I can help you take care of them and bring them on board. In exchange, we'll make a bit of a use case or a showcase case study out of it for future people who might be interested to come on board. Niru is asking, will it integrate with Zoho? So I did look into the Zoho integrations. I've looked at broad market data on Zoho usage for the markets that we're getting our MRR customers from, which is primarily the US and EU, and they don't have a huge amount of Zoho usage. So what I'd say, Niru, as of today, and again, super transparently, probably not going to be an immediate integration with Zoho in the same way that we have one with like Google Workspace or Microsoft 365. Maybe something we do in the future. Should already be possible otherwise for ad hoc stuff, which is data that you want to pull across via the existing webhook and Zapier integrations. Victor is saying generously cost effective. Victor, your comments always go straight to my heart. I appreciate it. Mabel is saying it makes sense to pay per use, else V1 will go bust. Good, the company has done their math. Yes, Mabel, that is correct. I appreciate it as well. So I'm going to jump back over to our little community stream here and hand things back over to Karan. Karan, is there another topic or another use case that you reckon we should cover in our call here today?
Okay, after I think you show like, let's show how growth marketers can use it. That's how one use case for a growth marketer, if they have to save their jobs, and how VO1 can save a growth marketer's job.
Awesome.
Awesome. Let's use that angle.
Let's do it. So V1, as I was saying a little bit earlier, our sort of initial customer profile is for marketers or growth marketers. Either marketing looking to get into a growth type role without having to learn the technical side, or people who are already working in growth. For those of you who are in the chat today, who either are marketers or work with marketers or growth marketers, I'm sure you've been here where you spend about one-ish day a week on importing, exporting, filtering your data, looking at what's working, what's not, and then moving people between different systems. V1 aims to remove that day of week that is kind of wasted completely and automate that process entirely. So we adopt a model which is called the Pirate model. It's quite a popular growth model within the sort of startup, scale up, even large business now ecosystem. It's a type of framework that companies like your Netflixes or your Duolingos of the world use. And what it does, it essentially puts all users through 6 different stages. So they start, like you can see on the screen here, I'm assuming the screen share is still working. Yep. They start all the way at awareness. And then as they start signing up to the platform, becoming a lead, signing up to the platform, using the platform, and then how they use the platform, they go through these different journeys. pushing users through these journeys in growth marketing is what's typically referred to as your growth levers, which is like, what are the levers? What are the things that you can do to pull people and get them to the next stage of adoption of your product, of revenue, in your business, whatever you want to be pushing them towards. The challenge in this space with existing platforms, and I don't think we've come across any other platform that does this out of the box natively, is the moving of your users between those journeys and making sure your comms always stays synced up so you're not double dipping a user with your marketing comms. I'm sure you've seen this before. You go, I don't know, you watch an ad on YouTube or you see an ad on Facebook, you love it, you jump on, you buy the product, and then you keep getting spammed with the same ad for the next 3 weeks. That company is spending money on someone who is already converted. That's money that shouldn't be spent, and you shouldn't be getting exposed to miscomms on that front either. Ads should be pushing you to the next step of the product. Another typical example that you'll see with this is in like free trial type flows, where someone signs up to a free trial and then they upgrade before the trial ends, but they keep getting the free trial emails. So what V1 does is it will automatically move the users between these journeys, and then will report on how many users are in each of the stages, where are they at within those journey stages, and then what can you do to get them to the next state. What you'll see here out of the box when you first set up the platform are templated preset flows. These flows can be fully customized and edited by anyone who signs up to the platform. Let's have a quick look at the acquisition flow here as an example. And I'd also highlight, you don't need to use all of these from day one out of the box. The idea with V1 is that you're setting it up with V1 of your product, and then it's there to grow with you throughout your entire journey. So you might not need all of this from day one. As you enter a more growth phase and you want to implement these systems, it's there for you and it's ready to go. So in this acquisition flow, you can see we've just got a simple editor. Essentially, the goal of this flow is to look at the users that are going through the journey, figure out what's important to them. It's looking at this by like, what are they clicking in the email, so that future comms are then personalized to that user based on what they're actually interested in. All of this without them just flat out telling you why they care about your product. So here's a typical no-code sort of build within the workflow. Again, all of this can be customized in any way that you want. You can even change and switch out the naming of any of these journeys within the entire system, or invert categories altogether. In our example, or what we'll see quite frequently, is SaaS companies tend to do retention and then revenue. E-com companies tend to do revenue and then retention in a pirate type model. I think for the most part, that covers that growth pirate type flow. Again, this is something that we can get more and more complex in as we go through more of these details. But for the stream today, I'll probably keep it big picture, and then you can ask me any follow-up questions.
Awesome. Yep, that's good.
I'll jump back into the questions that we've got here. Inderpreet's asking if I've got any use cases for the aviation industry. Inderpreet, I might get you to message me in the community on that, and we can have a proper discussion, because that's interesting. I have not thought about aviation before.
Do you think it from the pirate model, like if it's pirate for ships?
Yes. If they're going through the models, that 100%, and I'll definitely find use cases.
Can it be for pilot also?
Yeah. But no, Inderpreet, jump in the community, let me know, and we'll have a chat. We can have a chat back and forth between that. I can give you some good use case examples. Mabel is asking, can you squeeze some customers in different stages if they have off from V1 tracking from the pirate model? Yes, Mabel, you absolutely can. Just pass in the different actions. So essentially, if you looked at something like, I don't know, let's say we were looking at e-commerce store and we wanted to pass in a cart abandonment from a Shopify platform. They go in, they add stuff to cart, they never finish their checkout. You can build in an integration here. I think I've got the example of the use case that we're working on this week. Do I not? Yes. Here we go. So we'll have a complete explanation, tutorial, and training module on this as well. The idea is, if they start filling their details in the checkout, they don't complete the checkout, then you can automate follow-up comms to get them back, complete that checkout, and then continue through the rest of your journey. All of these can be completely integrated, can live as individual automations. It's completely up to you how you want to push, pull, or manage your data. But out of the box, it's set up for that pirate model. Victor's saying I should drop a link to the community in the comments section. That's a great idea, Victor. I will chuck it in now. Give me 1 sec. Let's go to here. People, invite. Copy the link, and I'll chuck it in here. Also, if you go to v1.app/community, you should also get the link to our Discord community as well. Victor's asking, does V1 offer browser abandonment email flows? I know cart abandonment is a thing already, but browser abandonment is what I'm curious about. Yes, Victor, we have that live. They are under the cold email flow section 1, 2, 3, 4, and they are for your browse abandonment type functionality. Check them out. They're live in the product. Klaviyo offers this already. Yes, well, now we do too. Without the full site tracking yet, but that will come in the future. Handing it back over to Karan here. Karan, any suggestions on next steps? Anything you wanted to highlight with the deal that we have live? Any discounts, end dates? When?
Yep. Yes, I think Ritvik can open the deal page if he can. I think you're sharing the screen. Okay.
Yeah.
Just go to the page and deal. And by the end of this month, we anticipate to end it. End of September. So we have limited time, and discount is going on. We will reset the discount for people till the end of the month. That's a gift from us, so we'll keep it by the end of the month as well. So grab it. You looked at the prices of active campaign. Just for 1 month's active campaign, you're getting a lifetime worth of VO1. So I don't think so they can be anything powerful, and that 200K contacts, by the way. So that's a steal according to me, because what you're doing for your automation, you should actually start using it right away. And this is an entity which kind of gives you your returns immediate. So yeah, you don't have to wait for your returns from this. Simple. A business guy will very much understand to take money out of a platform like this.
And as I was saying throughout the stream as well, we'll be releasing use cases on a weekly and fortnightly basis. These use cases are really set up for you to, for the most part, integrate and set up with a single click into your product. They take a bit of time to build out and prepare, which is why there's not a ton of them. But the implementation and the results that you get from that is pays back tenfold what you would be paying from a lifetime deal.
Yeah, the pricing is really, really great. For $249, it's an insane deal.
Well, all credits to Karan on this front, because I gave him almost blank slate to decide on how he wanted to set up the pricing. So thank you to the Rocket Hub guys.
Pretty easy, pretty easy to compare. We don't even need to stress. Okay, how did we come up with this pricing? You just go on other competitors and just check it out. Pretty 5 minutes job to kind of analyze how we came up with this.
That's great. We've also got, if you are curious and you just want a quick snapshot, jump onto the help desk. If you find the Rocket Hub article, this will give you big picture what you'd be paying for the same type of service with the other platforms. This also links directly to their pricing. If you wanted to go play around and compare for yourself, you can do that from the Rocket Hub support doc.
Cool. All right. I think let's come to the final thing. I think after we have talk about the questions, which I think we have. Right?
Yep. I think a lot of the questions are here. I've got one last one from Victor here. If a business brand wants to be featured as a case study, what's the process like? Victor, just join the community, DM me via the community, and then we can go back and forth and we can work through that together. I'm super down if anyone here wants to do case studies, wants to do some cross-promotional marketing, just hit me up. Very open to it over the coming months. Faz is asking, will we go on AppSumo Next or straight to MRR? We're not going on AppSumo Next. We're actually pivoting the MRR focus as of this week. So you'll see a little bit less of me super active in the LTD groups as of this week, as we're starting to run the MRR, the initial MRR push, I'd say.
Awesome. And this is what the community needs to see, right? After seeing a lot of heavy hearts, this is something positive. And product is focusing on MRR while the deal is right.
Yeah.
You won't find it anywhere. So great. Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, we will come back. I haven't told Karan this yet as well, so hopefully this is okay. We will likely come back, assuming that we get permission, to Rocket Hub for a final LTD deal. And then if they'll allow us, we'll also do a yearly deal. It will be a lot more expensive. It will be a single tier.
Sure.
Yeah.
Let me think. Should we bring?
I'll let you think about it, man. But to answer Faz's question here, we will be back for the Black Friday Cyber Monday. It will not be anywhere close to the deals that we have here today. And even the Black Friday Cyber Monday will be a push on yearly subscriptions, not on a lifetime deal.
Yep. Awesome. So cool. I think before we wrap up, and I think we have taken Ritvik's time as well. I think we can go with the updates which we have recently. Just quick 5-minute view through what we have pushed out, and then you can even tell people the programs VO1 is associated with and who is helping out in the venture capital area, which Anne is actually taking care of. Anne is there taking care of it, so we can kind of discuss that like for 5 minutes and then 5 minutes update, so we can help,
absolutely,
all of you sleep and eat food. Okay.
So I don't know if Antoine, do you wanna cover this part? So a little bit of a story behind who we're working with, who are our partners, and like even to like how did we meet, perhaps, and for that because that kind of does flow into it. And then I can cover anything else.
Okay, I can cover this in I would say first is partnerships, and second a little bit also like besides partnerships like where we get help with VC and funding. And let's start with partnership though. We are super involved with the two sides, like the European side in the world, and then also the I would say Southeast Asian side. Starting with the Southeast Asian side, I studied back then in one of the unis there, and now we get help actually from one of the biggest universities globally. They provide us with mentorship. We are one in their accelerator programs. They have, I think, 10 hubs around the globe, and we are also rolling out V1 in one of the hubs in San Francisco, and probably also in Saigon. So on that front, really great. The name is Block 71, and they are based in Singapore but have like global hubs. What else? I think also like Google and Microsoft, we don't need to mention because these are like startup programs. But with Amazon, we have something very special as well. Amazon, again, I think somewhere in my network, they came to us and pitching us, hey, if you need help, just come to me. Then we got back to them and they're like, hey, we find you great. If you need engineers, we have engineers for you. And if you want to do something with AI, we can fund that. We are super grateful on that end as well. I think on this end we have a small bottleneck because we would need one dedicated person on our end to somehow manage this thing. Maybe Alex can do it, but I cannot for sure. Because I'm more on the business and dev side. And then looking on the European side, I'm now pushing us in one of the German state, I would say, projects. So we're talking now with Berlin and Bavaria. Bavaria is much richer than Berlin, you might know. But basically, some very important key stakeholders we're talking with. And now we are letting them fight against each other. And I'm like, hey, we are not incorporated yet. Whoever gives us more money, we will go there. So now like, oh, okay, how much do you offer? And besides money as well, because for example, the state of Bavaria, they have a huge venture hub where they combine not only policymakers and investors, but also like from the industries and foundation wise. Like for example, they have their Allianz, they have their BMW, and they are super close with the families as well. And for example, the BMW Foundation. and they see startups, because Germany is lagging, obviously, globally, behind, and now they really want to push the startup scene more and more, with like billions and billions from state and foundations and the industry as well. So yeah, super happy on that end. We are getting now for sure a big grant, six digits. I can tell this already. But beyond this, we are also now raising our pre-seed round, and looking forward, like I would say Q4 this year, latest Q1 next year, we want to close this round. So
awesome.
yeah.
Thanks so much, Antoine. I might just hand it back to Karan to see if you had any questions, and I'll close out the partnership and how sort of the business is operating on two fronts on that side.
Awesome. Yeah, I think just we can cover the latest updates which VO1 has made, the 14 updates.
Yep.
And we can just show them like this is the list which just came out recently and what you're working on next. Pretty like just 5 minutes brief.
Yeah, absolutely, man. All right, let's just dive. We can dive straight into these. Essentially, if you go over to hub.v1.tech, this is our sort of news update roadmap type center. From here, you can see under the news tab what we just released. So you can see this is our latest update. We have a new one or two new ones that are just about to ship around the corner. You then have your features. So anyone can request new features. We approve them and then put them onto the roadmap. And then the roadmap here, you can broadly see what's been going on. So the way this will work is we will be releasing updates onto the roadmap twice a month. In the first week of the month, as well as week 3 of the month, so around the 14th. And this is what we'll be using to sort of keep everyone updated, keep things on track. As I won't go into too much detail on each of these features here, Karan, because they are quite unique and quite specific, and they combine a few different things. So you'll see updates from here that come through our integration partners and different platforms that we use and what we also white label. You'll see updates that come internally from the team, both in terms of fixes, content, integrations. And then finally, in that news section, you'll see the broader use case integrations and new templates that we ship. We try to be as transparent as possible throughout. Again, you can ask me anything on this front, whether it's on the business or the engineering product type side. And yeah, I'll just sort of invite you to take a look, jump through the different things. If there is an issue or a bug, report it to us. This, it's an example of the fix with the integrations was something that we had from a user 24 hours ago. It was like, hey, bug. I was like, oh shit. Better fix that. And then we got the quick update pushed out. But you can also see the different updates. Like I was saying a little bit earlier with the AI history and the AI customizations, you'll find them here to V1 as well.
Awesome. Amazing. Cool. Back to Ritvik. Ritvik, what do you think? Ritvik has been quiet.
Alex has so much energy. He saved us a lot of energy.
Everyone says this.
I feel like tonight is one of my lower energy nights, but I appreciate it regardless.
Thing is, people donate blood, right? I actually donate energy. It's like
no. From us, I'd say I think we can start to wrap things up now, Karan.
Yep, let's do it.
Awesome.
Yeah, Ritvik, do it.
What I'd say, Squad, is on a couple of fronts. We're still super new. Rocket Hub was our very first public launch. Before that, we did a bunch of pilots and like very closed beta type stuff. But we're very early on in our journey. We're built out. We've set everything up to be here for the long term. Both me and Antoine work on the project full time. We're actively hiring for the project full time as well. We're raising money, landing grants on one side, and then on the other side, getting new MRR customers alongside our LTD campaign. So we will be here for the long term. You will be getting lots of new updates through your purchase over the coming months and years. I'd also invite you to look at some of the historical stuff that we've launched before and see how they went and how we didn't disappear after a little while. And then otherwise, Squad, just from the bottom of my heart, thank you all so much for the time. Thank you for the awesome questions as always. If you do have any additional questions about either V1 as a product or the startup scene and getting started as a business, join the community, hit us up, tag us on Facebook, add us on LinkedIn. More than happy to dive into those as well. We are on we're really at this stage on both fronts. And if it's a battle on both fronts, and if anyone has any questions on either side, feel free to reach out. Always happy to help out. But otherwise, Rav, Karan, Antoine, thank you all again so much for your time today. Squad, chat, community, thank you for joining and asking some great questions too. And in the meantime, go buy the deal before it's over.
Yep.
Look forward to seeing you in the community.
Don't forget to use the discount code there.
Yes, valid for another 2 days, I believe.
And yeah, good thing is it's auto applied for everyone. So we have kind of auto applied it. So anyone who adds this to cart, you automatically get it. Simple.
That's awesome.
Awesome.
It was a great demo, Alex. Thanks for coming. Thanks, Anton, for coming and joining us for our community. We really hope you scale this and be one of the unicorns soon.
Yes,
really
yes. Go.
Happen.
And wish Alex now goes in a private jet, from Vietnam to San Francisco.
This ends when I get a private jet.
Yeah.
PJ. Just because I like to say PJ.
It should have a VO1, on its tail.
No, but in all seriousness, we are super dedicated, committed to be here for the long run. This is really something that both me and Antoine put all of our eggs in. But we also have a good history of launching startups, so we know what it's like. But this is the tool that will be here in the long run, and the tool that you'll see in a few years' time put up against the giants of the automation space and the marketing space. You guys will be first little early adopters with your lifetime licenses.
Yep. All right. And first of all, big thanks to Ritwik for organizing this on a short notice. And yeah, it was amazing. And this first time Rocket Hub is coming to Tech Nerds, and we hope to come every single time with a new great deal. And Ritwik is a great guy. He's one of the most I feel rational individual in the community. Not a lot of emotions, not a lot of stress, but a guy who stays rational. So yeah, he's one of the best guys in the community. So always follow him.
Kind words, bro. And thank you, Alex. Thank you, Anton. Yeah, Alex, please carry on.
I was going to say, thank you so much, Vic. Thank you for having us. Karan, thank you for organizing. And we'll come back anytime if you ever want to do a follow-up live stream.
Awesome. Thanks.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you for having us.
Alrighty, Scott. I'll see you around.
See you guys.
Bye.
See you guys. Bye.
Bye.